Welcome to Africa's first ROG arena. Woo!
Welcome, folks, to the ATK Pro Series Gran Turismo Round 6 at the Nurburgring Nordschleife. My name is Ernest Page, joined by Daniel Haynes, and this is the moment we've been waiting for. The final event of the season, at least for this part of the season, is finally upon us, and the track is the most daunting track of it all. This is, of course, powered by Mercedes-Benz, and if you look at the bottom of your screen there, you can see the rest of our sponsors that all made this event possible. I see a couple of guys already in the YouTube chat. We got Dino over there, Musa, Jonathan Bell, and a couple others jumping into the chat. So welcome to you guys, and please keep those chat and conversations coming. We love to hear from you guys, and would love to hear what you guys think of the championship and of this race so far today. But Dan, the circuit, man, the circuit is just another story, because this is just like rain. It's kind of the ultimate equalizer, isn't it?
Nah, nice easy one to finish the year. Yeah. 25 kilometers of the green hell. Yeah, I don't know why the schedulers put it in, but as a spectator, it's good for us because it really is a difficult track, let's be honest. Just remembering the corners can be a bit of a challenge around here, but these sim races, they've been going around this thing for years. So I think they've got it nailed.
I do remember when this version of the circuit came out on Sims for the first time. It's something that many enthusiasts have been waiting for, but once you start to think to yourself, how the heck am I going to memorize 160 corners? Well, that's a task all on its own. And even when it comes to qualifying, these guys, they don't have much time to do that qualifying, or at least not when it comes to laps, isn't it, Dan?
Yeah, they've pretty much got one flying lap, one opportunity. They've got within 30 minutes, if they mess up halfway around the lap, they can exit and start again. But pretty much they got one hit wonder. However, how important is qualifying? I don't think is as important as other rounds. So, I mean, you've got a 40-minute race to think of, which is more important. And that these guys all down to strategy again. Coming up with their strategy calls for this race, though, when you've got to do a 25-kilometer lap just to see whether it works. I think some guys probably put some time in, and I don't think they're going to be as polished as they were in previous rounds, but we'll wait and see.
Well, the championship is something that D Norke has polished up quite nicely with 1,595 points. But yes, folks, you heard correct. I was chatting to, I saw Dean's chat now in the chat box, because Dino K is not in this race at the moment. He's comfortable to have secured, even with a dropped round, his position in the championship, so he will be sitting this one out. Liam Pisanello is, of course, now the favorite going into this, and when I look at the comments, Levitius is what they call him. Musa 9BR says that his money is on Levitius. In third position in the championship is Vincent Nell, DMRE Vincent, and the rest of the drivers you can see on that list over there. But what is interesting, Dan, is that most of the top contenders are in fact DMRE, Dead Men Racing gentlemen from that team. So most of the top guys are from the same team, with Levitius being in a nice, comfortable DMR sandwich in second place over there.
Yeah, so Dean's going to take his drop round for this round. Levitius, though, he can improve on his point standing because he wants to get rid of that first round where I think he finished in 7th position. So ideally, he wants to use that as his drop round and then jump up the standings here to try and take overall victory. But there's only 3 slots in the final championship where they would join the R Factor 2 guys and the Assetto Corsa Competizione guys. So it's all about the top three, and we got two teammates fighting it out in Vincent Now and Stefan Mocker. Very close between those two. Who's going to secure that third spot? I think that's the real story tonight.
Well, we are about to go live to the drivers to see what all these drivers are up to on the circuit. And there you have it, Super Manny in the mix over there. Manshal Singh finds himself looking very good so far as we cycle through the rest of the drivers. And you will be seeing a lot of DMR cars. And there's another one. Vincent Nell over there, DMR Vincent, doing very well in the championship standings at the moment, and DMR Vincent currently circulating over there. And as we mentioned before, it's all about DMR in this current championship standings, isn't it, Dan?
Yeah, I'd like to be a fly on the wall in that team room, because all season long they've worked together, working out their strategy. Got a big advantage there, having a big team that are all very quick on. They can take it in turns to work out different strategies. But here, it's a shootout between the two teammates, isn't it, in Vincent Now and Stefan Mocker. So, yeah, we're looking at second place. I think Stefan Mocker is currently holding, but I'm not sure, because we're waiting to see whether they get their one flying lap through. But I mean, do you hold a few things back if that's you? I mean, you come up a little bit of you find a little something in your own private testing. Do you tell Vincent if you're Stefan Mocker, or likewise? I mean, you've got to ask the question, because that's what sim racers are like.
That's what sim racers are like. You said it, not me. And you yourself are a very active sim racer at the moment. But DMR guys are looking for a total shutout for the top three. That's their team strategy. KBR guys also in the mix. They're the first of them in fifth place, Rainier Simon. And I'm trying to see if I can see his name on the list over there. Nothing yet so far. But if they can push Levitius out of the top three, that would be first prize for DMR. There goes Dutchman 007 over there. That's Nico van der Heever, currently 12th in the standings. So he will have to push very hard if he's going to try and make it through to the Champs of Champs. But that's exactly what these guys are chasing. Their top three positions in the Champs of Champs. And so far, DMR, Dino, Liam Pisanello, and Vincent Nell are those three drivers. But it's still early days, especially on this circuit, Dan, because all it takes is one mistake on one corner, and well, there you go. Then it's all overs for you. I mean, as difficult as it is to memorize the circuit, I think we've got the hardest job here, trying to figure out where these guys are going to be on the track.
Yeah, I don't know all the names. There are certain sim racers that literally know this track, every single name, every corner name and everything. It's ridiculous. Obviously, I know sections of I know each sector and the carousels, but I'm not going into my German. But it's one of those circuits where sim racers have had a huge advantage in learning this track. And you speak to like Calvin van der Linde, the first South African to win the Nurburgring 24-hour. He was the first to come out and said that lapping in the sims massively helped him. Because if you pitch up at this circuit for the first time, you've never seen it, how daunting is that?
Can you imagine? I mean, that would just be insanity, because every single corner, I've spoken to drivers that have been here, is that the corners look the same. They look the same. The elevation looks the same. You're not quite sure if it's left or right. And you also, it's not that you're not even sure, it's that you're not sure if you should trust yourself to do that and to take that corner that way. Because if you do, you can end up with a written off Mercedes-Benz AMG GT3. And that's not what you want. But on the sim, you can practice and practice and practice. And guys like Calvin van der Linde, and specifically the younger of the van der Linde brothers, was very much trained on a sim from a very young age. And I'm sure he's been doing laps on this track since he was about 6 years old. Yeah,
and Calvin won it this year as well. So he's won it twice. Only South African to ever win the 24-hour, which is, it's got to be one of the biggest feats in racing, in endurance racing. Going around this place in the pitch black, and it really is pitch black. Yeah, usually you've got weather on different bits of the circuit and dry and others. It's a real test of your driving skill, and we got 40 minutes of it here.
Oh yes, and Van der Linde really is one of our best exports when it comes to that, isn't he? And he now finds himself as not just a good South African driver, but just a good driver overall. I mean, he's made a name for himself internationally, and he is very much well known. Also trying to make a name for himself is a Dutchman over here. and that's Nico van der Heever currently in third place, trying to put himself in the most advantageous position at this stage. Like I said, third position, and they've still got quite a few minutes of qualifying left, but not as many laps as they would like, I'm sure. Man, how do you stay focused for so long on a circuit like this? Because I quite like club circuits myself. I like shorter circuits myself because there's only 4, 5, 6 corners to memorize. But 160 corners, each one with its very own nuance and detail, must be so incredibly difficult to do. And not just to go fast, but to be the fastest on a circuit like this is exactly what these drivers are trying to achieve at this stage of the game.
It really is a skill. It's a little bit like rally stage driving at this point, isn't it? Where you can't fundamentally remember every single nuance of every corner, but you learn full sections of it. So I take this as sector 1, 2, and 3, and you can practice. Yeah. One advantage in sim racing is you can literally just practice those sectors. And because everyone's really good at sector 1 because you don't crash so much there. And by the time you get through, and sector 3 is obviously pretty easy because you just sat having a relaxing break on that huge long straight, and you're just maxing out your car.
Oh, and obviously one of the trickiest corners in the world, the carousel. Makes his way out of it, does Dutchman, and not to be confused with the baby carousel. But I'm pretty sure we're going to get those two confused tonight at some stage.
Yeah, carousel 1 and 2. Obviously, yeah. That was the first one, so we've got to wait till we come up to the second one that leads onto the back straight. But he's all over the place, isn't he? Keeping that AMG pointing forward, squirming around his Dutchman 007.
Yeah, Dutchman 007 looking very fast over there at the moment, but we'll only know later on. And of course, what will the fuel strategies be like? Because if you get stuck out there with an extra lap, I mean, you are royally screwed. So we could see some of these drivers maybe running a little bit too low on fuel, maybe running out of fuel. There are so many variables. And I think what you were mentioning earlier about the team guys having a massive advantage to DMR guys is that they get to consolidate all their data with one another, where other drivers that are running solo have to figure it all out on their own. It's a lot more difficult if you're not part of a team, but that's why you join a team, so that you can get access to thrice, in this case, 4 times the data for the DMR guys.
Yeah, it's definitely been a big advantage for the DMRE guys during this season, and something that Liam's had to deal against working out on his own, which just shows how well Levitius has done. Certainly this back end of the season, he's really come on leaps and bounds, hasn't he, as Liam? Great results in the last 2 races, and he's confident here going into the Nurburgring as well. So we'll see whether he can pull off a famous victory and maybe take the overall championship.
Yeah, the overall championship it would be nice. It's not necessarily what most of these guys are going to be after. They want to get that top 3 position, but there does come a lot of street cred with winning this thing overall. And we've seen these guys fighting so hard over the course of the season to try and get to the top spot over here. It's not been easy for some of these drivers. Oh, that last flat section as you exit the carousel there, so tricky. Jeez, man, it could be that kind of mistake is what we might see today, where it's a section where the drivers, they know it well, but they put one part of one wheel wrong, and that could see everything go for naught. And not hoping that that's the case, but it's one of those situations where this is that kind of circuit, isn't it, Dan?
Yeah, I mean, every time I look at this circuit, I'm looking at it now. F1 cars used to go around here. It was nicknamed the Green Hell because Jackie Stewart called it that when he won. But I mean, that was when F1 drivers were men, wasn't it, really? And they actually did put their life on the line every single race. So unbelievable when you think of them going around here with basically no safety features whatsoever on their cars.
We've only got 2 cars on track, and I actually had a picture of I think it was Niki Lauda going airborne in a Formula 1 car over the crest of one of these hills.
Crazy. He was nuts anyway, though, wasn't he?
Nuts. Are you nuts? And this, of course, we had a big accident many years ago. And one of the reasons why, probably why Formula 1 isn't there anymore, also why racing has become so much safer over the years, of course, lobbying for safety in motorsport. And in some ways, I agree, and in other ways, you know, you want the glory days. Sometimes it's difficult to relive those glory days. I was not for Halo devices, but now one would be foolish not to race with one in a top flight single seater. So, you know, the sport evolves and things change. And there is the baby carousel over there. just quickly through that section over there. The other one with much higher Gs as they make their way now through the final sector. He's done about 7 minutes or so. And now onto the very long straight. And what a long straight it is. It's absolutely flat out. I won't even go on board yet to kind of see what kind of speeds Vincent will be doing. There we go. On board now, top of 6th gear. I can't see the speedo, Dan, but this is as fast as you're going to go. 270 at the moment and absolutely flat out. He's probably going to hit the limiter. Yes, he does. 270 k's an hour. And Dan, you were talking about a difficult corner. If ever there was an unassuming difficult corner, it's the last one as he heads up the hill right now.
You got a little bit of work still left to do. You get onto that straight, happy with your day's work, and then you think, oh no, I don't want to lose it here, but he doesn't. He's coming through quite nicely.
Little bit. That was
very tight right-hander right at the end. But you're onto the main GP circuit here. So usually with the Nordschleife Tourist layout, you got a very tight right-hander. But here we're going straight through the finish.
Vincent goes first there. DMR Vincent goes first, and he's going to be happy with that. We've only got one more car on the circuit at the moment. That's Racing Rome's in 6th position. And let's see how he does. That's Romano Jonker, 10th in the championship standing. So he's the last car on track, if I'm not mistaken. And if it stays like this, we've got DMR Vincent in first place, Stefan Mocker in 2nd place. That's SMP3 Pro over there. Super Manny, Manshal Singh in 3rd position, and Dutchman 007 in 4th. Where is
Levitius 7th at the moment?
Levitius 7th at the moment. Racing Rome stays 6th. So even he is ahead of Levitius. Liam Pisanello in 2nd in the championship finds himself.
Levitius has suddenly gone 3rd. And we've got Stefan. So we've got the 3 guys that are all fighting out for that top 3 spot in the top 3.
Yeah. Top 3 guys looking quite racy. Superman just scouting it in that, of course, he's running that incredible We Are Pace livery over there. And
he's out for a Sunday drive, literally.
Yeah, he's literally checking the tar by the looks of things. We've got about 30 seconds left before we cut straight into the action. And of course, folks, if you just joined us, this is the Nordschleife with the entire circuit stitched together, all 160 plus corners. And I've got the track map in front of me here, Dan. You weren't joking about those German words over there.
No, don't. I mean, there are some sim racers that literally know them all, but I always I know them when I'm in the sim, but I don't know the names.
Yeah, it's going to be tricky for us to call exactly where the cars are on the circuit, but we'll do our level best to try and keep you guys abreast of the action. The drivers are currently lining up. And once again, if you've just joined us, welcome to those guys on the stream. Justino is on the stream as well. Gerrit Janssen van Vieren. How's it going, Gerrit? Saying that there's lots of guys that would do well on this circuit, as there sits SMP Pro, SMP3 Pro, Stefan Mocker in 3rd position, Nitro Merlin 2nd at the moment. And here they get ready to go, ladies and gentlemen. The lights are about to go out. We are about to go racing. The final round of the ATK Pro Series Gran Turismo edition is go, 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 go. And they slot in behind each other. Nitro Merlin in 2nd place. Stefan Mocker in 3rd place. There is the view from the leader, DMR Vincent, as Merlin tries to go down the inside of Vincent. It's oh so close. Levitius comes through down the outside. And this section over here, it's give, 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 as Levitius slots into 3rd place. Nitro Merlin in 2nd place, as Vincent starts to get an ever so slight lead over the rest of the competition. And they are, of course, still running on the GP circuit at this stage, which is the smooth flowing lines in Germany of an iconic circuit. They haven't headed out into the green hell as yet, as here they come. Nitro Merlin in 2nd, Levitius in 3rd, and DMR SMP Pro in 4th position. Just behind that over there, we wait for the next car to come through, and that looks like it's Racing Rome's over there. And at least, Dan, we've had a clean start. Levitius looking good for himself there in 3rd position.
Yeah, Levitius got the jump on Stefan Mocker in 4th place, so go up into 3rd. It's so important, this GP layout, because this, believe it or not, is your best chance to overtake, because it's very hard to overtake on the Nordschleife. So if you want to get in places, this is where it is. And Levitius managed to get up into 3rd position. Stefan Mocker needs to try and get a move forward if he wants to finish in that top 3, though.
That's KBR over there, Rainier Simon just behind. And the top 4, 5 starting to separate themselves. Levitius has to go defensive.
Stefan Mocker's having a look here.
Oh, around the outside, through the S bend over there. Oh my goodness me. Stefan Mocker gets a little bit close for comfort over there. Now he's under pressure by KBR as they make their way onto the green hell.
Yeah, once you go onto the Nordschleife, that's why Stefan Mocker tried to make a move, even though it was in the dangerous chicane, because he knows once you get into this first sector of the Nordschleife, it's pretty much just follow the guy in front.
Yeah, follow my leader, as they say, but you don't have to follow far. You can follow close, and that's exactly what Stefan Mock is doing behind Levitius over there. As you rightly pointed out, this is the easy part of the circuit. Everybody, including me, is fast over here. But once you start heading out to the more tricky section, it's all about trying to remember what goes where as they make their way through this right-hander. Jig right now, jig left again, and down the hill as they make their way to the crest. The incredibly iconic section where a lot of cars can, in fact, get airborne.
Yeah, they do indeed, and you get a lot of practice on this sector 1 in the sim because you load it up and you're all going for a hot lap, and then you find you can hit the reset button before you finish it. But here you got 300 meters of elevation change here, so lots and lots of up and down throughout this lap, and that can sometimes catch you out, as you said.
And this is one of my favorite sections here. Keep it left, and then hard on the braking zone for the tight right-hander up ahead there. And this is one of those sections where you can actually brake a lot harder than you think you can. And there is space to run ever so slightly wide, but you don't want to touch the dirt on the outside as they make their way down the hill and back up again into that incredible chicane. SMP Pro and Levitius touch. They touch side by side. SMP Pro's forcing his way through. It's a left-hander up ahead. Levitius has the line. SMP Pro goes around the outside. Levitius ducks inside, gets it back, and now SMP Pro is under pressure from KBR over there.
Yeah, brilliant driving from both guys, but I mean, this is why Stefan Mocker was so upset and losing that position on the GP layout, because trying to get it done on the green hell is not going to be easy at all. He tried his best side by side through several corners, had to drop back behind Levitius. I think Levitius is holding him up here.
Yeah, Levitius does seem to be holding him up. SMP Pro has exceptional pace, gives him a little bit of a nudge, just letting him know that he's there. But KBR now, Rainier Simon, is also starting to just look on and wait for his opportunities. The rest of the field sees the top 5 drivers start to slowly work their way away, but they are still pretty close and haven't slipped out of striking distance just yet.
In the meantime, the front 2 are gapping just a bit, 2.3 seconds. Vincent's doing exactly what he needs to do at the front. Looking like a good round for him so far. A lot to go, though, and we've got obviously mandatory tyre changes. But it's so hard. I cannot stress how difficult it is through this section to make a pass. Until you get to the end of the lap on that long straight after this baby carousel, that's your next opportunity. But you can't wait like 7 minutes to get there.
Yeah, 7 minutes is a long time in anybody's language, especially on a big circuit. But there we see now Vincent and Nitro Merlin doing very well over there. Michael Feiss doing very well. Oh, tires screeching over there. Hope we didn't miss anything. Nope. The action continues as there goes Rainier Simon, the pace car just behind him. But Levitius holding off the rest of the pack. And I think Levitius might be the old cork in the bottle at this stage because the rest of the pack is catching up.
It certainly looks that way, doesn't it? He got the great pass, which is what he needed in the GP section. But here we go now. Stefan Mock have a look up at the inside once again. They're going to go side by side through this section. It looks like he's ahead. He's got ahead, hasn't he?
Oh, yes, he does. Stefan Mocker gets ahead into 3rd place, takes it back. It's my position now. Look at the pace of Mocker as they go through the forest section now. And this, again, a very tricky section. The hard right-hander is what they're going towards now. And this takes full commitment through here. Levitius tries to get back within striking distance, but not able to do so. And now he finds himself with KBR also on his tail. And it does look like it's a DMR shutout at this stage with Vincent, Nitro Merlin, and SMP Pro as they go through the next very tricky carousel section. Oh, the high G section over there as the drivers dig and shuffle their way there over the curb, under the curb, over that section. The car gets airborne, the car compresses. It's so tricky, but all these drivers coping well so far and making their way through as Superman slots into 6th position there with Dino, MGR Dino, giving him massive pressure from behind.
Yeah, it was a great driver from Stefan Mocker. I mean, it's the sort of pass that you make on the sim, but you probably think twice about it in real life. Very courageous through that section. And he needed to because he's got to try and hunt down his teammates. Specifically, Vincent in 1st place was getting away from him, and Levitius was holding him back. So Stefan Mocker's been released. The cork is out of the bottle, and now he's going to try and chase down his 2 teammates.
We've got Dino, the other Dino, in 7th place. Behind that is Brits Finnig. That's Diewald Brits over there, who's off screen. Currently running in 8th position over there. Now Dino, this Dino, pressurizing Superman, Manchal Singh, getting a lot of pressure, goes defensive. And this is one of those circuits that if you go defensive here, you're going to lose a lot of time. It's a rhythm circuit. It's a circuit where you've got to go left, right. You've got to sort of go curb to curb, as they say. And if you're starting to go defensive, you kind of, oh, he runs wide over there. That's Dino 14 runs wide. Oh, my goodness. Dino 14 out of the running. Superman gets some respite.
Yeah, that's what happens when you start looking. You learn this circuit one line only, and it very much is one line only. And that is why it's so difficult to pass, because you've got that one line in your mind and you haven't practiced every other combination of lines. And you go in tight one. Yeah, go
out like that.
Yeah, 100%. You go in tight on a corner, which you didn't realize, and you suddenly realize the next corner, you're way off and you're in the barrier.
Yeah. And that's exactly it, that sort of rhythm circuit that flows into one another as Diewald Vincent heads down the straight in 1st position. Nitro Merlin just behind him, 1 second behind him in 2nd place. And there is Stefan Mocker, and further down the road is Levitius. The marshals watch on as they go flat down one of the longest straights in motorsport, and just incredible. They go underneath the Bullstein Bridge now, and it's going to be a slight jig to the left-hand side, but still flat out as they head up the hill and into the very hard braking section, which is, you got to say, this is one of the most technical corners in motorsport. Right.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of technical corners on this circuit.
Oh, Vincent runs wide. Vincent runs wide there, Dan. I think that gap, which was 1 second, is now 0.7 seconds.
Very close between these two. We have a suspicion that Levitius has done this lap on the hard tyre, which is why he was a bit slower, but in which case he was a bit of a cork in that bottle and kept Stefan Mocker behind, and he's now trying to track back to his teammates. Ooh. So maybe that'll run good for him later on. This is so close between Vincent, isn't it, and Nitro Merlin behind.
Nitro Merlin almost giving him the old love tap under braking there. We've just confirmed that Levitius is in fact running the hard compound. And Dan, what are your thoughts on him being slower and holding up some of the other guys with that hard compound? That's not a bad strategy, is it?
I like the idea of getting out of the way. And in the previous rounds, Levitius he's gone out quick and then been tracked back. But that was different because he was starting from the front. He wasn't starting from the front this time, so he took the hards, and then he'll finish on the quicker tyre, and he managed to get in front of Stefan Mocker, one of his rivals, in 3rd place, and just hold him back for a good half lap. Albeit
briefly. But basically, Levitius needs to finish ahead of Vincent Null and Stefan Mocker. And if he can just finish ahead of Vincent Null, that's job done. Or at least Stefan Mocker, that's job done. So for him to hold Stefan Mocker back and not let Stefan Mocker be released with those soft compound tires, well, that's a big win for him over there, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Levitius and Dino are basically, they've cemented their second place, their sort of top 3 positions. Is just what position they're going to be in. The real battle here is Vincent and Stefan Mocker. At the moment, Vincent is glad that he's got Nitro Merlin as a buffer between him and his other teammate, because there's only 3 spots, and at the moment there's 4 guys wanting them, so one guy's going to lose out.
Yeah, they've gone through the Schumacher S's, they've gone through the Vashsteiner curves. Now, once again, they make their way onto one of the most iconic circuits in the world. Just a couple more corners to go, and then they head back on the long lap. And I'm sure these drivers know this circuit very well, but that doesn't change the fact that you spend about 8 minutes or so on a lap around this incredible circuit. And I remember seeing footage of the circuit for the first time. I couldn't believe it was real.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be allowed now, would it?
Yeah.
As a European, we're very actually glad that it is in Germany, because if it was any other country in Europe, it would have been shut down probably a long time ago for safety concerns. But those Germans are nuts when it comes to driving cars, so we're quite glad that it can stay there, and it can be one of the places that we can all go to and have a lap for 15 euros, I think you put through the toll. Got to be a little bit careful with your road car, though, because a lot of people go there for a bit of fun and end up taking the ambulance, and you have to pay for the damage if you go into the rails as well. It's quite expensive.
Yeah, no, like taking a road car around here, it would need to be a properly sorted, at least like a Renault Clio or something, I would imagine. You know what I'm saying? Or a properly sorted lightweight car, or
a
something
higher
like
car.
this.
It would that's what I would want to take around here.
Yes. Something that doesn't belong to me. Something that
exactly
without a bend you mend policy.
Yes, exactly. You want a zero excess hire car.
Yeah, I've got a couple of mates that have done exactly that. I've actually got a friend of mine that's coaching there at the moment. And I mean, he's just loving life, getting to do laps around the Nordschleife all the time. As KBR makes his way through Team KBR over there. And from what our producers telling us is that they are catching up with Levitius. So positions 5 and 6, Super Manny, Manchal Singh is catching up to Levitius. The gap now down to 1.8 seconds. So let's watch that gap as there in the front is Levitius, and it is dropping very steadily back up to 1.9. But let's see if it manages to go over 2, because Levitius, I'm sure, is keeping an eye on that gap as well.
Yeah, but Levitius is getting his slower tyre stint out of the way early. So as we've seen all season long, I don't want to call anything until the final lap, because these gaps, I mean, they've been testing so much that they always converge. So Levitius is getting his slow tyre out the way, and then I'll expect him to be a lot quicker in the second stint of this race.
They do tend to converge on here, don't they? I mean, it's
insane.
incredible.
We've seen gaps that you just, oh, this guy's won by a mile, and then it comes down to a photo finish at the end. I mean, literally, we've had literally photo finishes at the end.
We saw that at Daytona, and
Insane.
I mean, that was just incredible on the finish line. I kind of lost my voice a little bit on that one. I'll try not to shout as loudly this time for those of you guys with the headphones on, but just be warned, if we get a photo finish again, you might need to turn those headphones down a little bit as KBR slides and slips his way through the forest section at the moment. And this is one of those sections that's quite, you kind of got to commit here, don't you? You got to just get the line right and keep it pinned until you go down the hill and into the right-hander.
Yeah, once you've got the line in your mind and you're safe on it, then it is literally like that. Yeah, pin your foot down and you're off. But if you get slightly out of touch, and you get slightly wide somewhere, those barriers are a lot closer than you realise. So much closer. Look at the sparks coming up.
Oh, and there you see a little bit of a dab of the brakes there as he goes through the final left-hander towards the downhill now, and here comes the right-hander up ahead. KBR, that is fifth place man, Rainier Simon. He is running 5th in the championship as well. And now look at Superman. He's starting to catch up, and the gap is down to 0.7 seconds between the two of them. Superman and Rainier Simon. Whew, pace car making its way through the carousel there as he now starts to get onto the back of Rainier Simon. Manchal Singh looking very good. He's currently 6th in the championship, so this is 5th and 6th on track, and 5th and 6th in the championship point. Somebody's looks like he's run a little bit wide there. Yes, he has. Rainier Simon's run wide. Here comes Superman now down the outside. Superman gets pushed wide ever so slightly. Looked legal, but Superman tried to pounce, but Rainier Simon did well there, to manage to stay ahead. I thought he was going to get overtaken for sure there, Dan.
Yeah, Superman looks way more confident though, doesn't he, in this sector? He closed the gap so quickly. Just brave when he was flat out through that first sector we were looking at. And yeah, should have got the move done, but it just seems more comfortable. I think this is a pass that's inevitable.
Yeah. Oh, you were saying
as I say that.
Gets stuck
damn
in
it, Superman.
Superman gets stuck in the dirt. And I was about to disagree with you there. I wish I did sooner, because then I would have been so right. But
he looked so good until I opened my mouth.
He looked so good. Racing Rose there in 9th position. Romano Jonker. Dutchman 007 in 10th. And Clads 91. Clyde Lyer in 11th position, of course, coming up from Pool 2. Some of these drivers, and welcome if this is your first time in Division 1, Pool 1. Congratulations for making it to the final round over here as we watch Racing Rose in the Matmut car over there, AMG Mercedes-Benz GT3. And of course, this event is powered by Mercedes-Benz, the one-make series that is exceptionally exciting to watch. That Superman being swallowed up by the competition, and that is Brits over there, Brits Vinnig they call him, and he is slowly but surely getting to within striking distance. And Dan, another thing that happens on the circuit is that you make one mistake and you end up making more.
Yeah, it just gets in your head, doesn't it? And you're thinking about the mistake, and then you've got to concentrate on your driving, but you can't help but think of the corner behind, and you forget the corner coming up.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of those poor Pool 2 drivers. They bust their ass to get into here, and then a baptism of fire as they're released onto the Nordschleife. I mean, that's a difficult one to make your debut on pool 1, isn't it? But well done to them getting here.
Exceptionally difficult. And Dan, I've got to say, I've coached guys and spoken about the fact that when you make a mistake, you got to move on, and you got to put it behind you and all that kind of stuff. But that is a skill that can take a lifetime to learn.
Yeah, easier said than done. So easy.
So much. I always tell the guys that I coach that I'm not saying this because I'm better than you. I'm just saying it because it's true. But the thing is that even myself, anybody, it's just so difficult to put it behind you, because you need to the best athletes in the world are those that are able to make a mistake and reset. And that's exactly what all these drivers need to do. We saw Superman making some mistakes. He's got to reset, got to get his head back in the game. And someone that we've seen do very well at that is your man on screen at the moment, Levitius, who did not pit, and he is now back in the lead. So what does this mean, Dan? What does this mean?
Yeah, so we got our first pitters in. So they've gone off of their soft tyres and they'll be going on to the mediums. But Levitius started onto the medium, so he's got another lap to go, and it's going to be super interesting. So we've got 9.6 seconds. He's going to lose quite a bit of that as they track him down on fresh tyres, but then he's going to come in and pit himself. So he's got to try and get a gap. It's the overcut, but it's unlikely to work with the tyres that he's on right now. We won't know until about 7 or 8 minutes time when he comes into pit himself.
Goodness me. So he has to, I mean, my brain is hurting just thinking about this. He has to.
He's got to nail it. Absolutely nail it now, really.
He's got to nail it. Not run out of fuel. Make it the next lap. Have exactly the right strategy for the rest of the race. And you can't have like 1.5 laps of fuel. You know what I mean? The lap is too long and you're 4 minutes away from the next petrol station, so to speak. So it's such a tricky, so close to the wall goes the Levitius. It's such a tricky situation that he finds himself in now, 8.5 seconds ahead of Vincent, Nitro Merlin, and SMP, all DMR guys, followed by KBR, Supermanny, and Brits Vinach over there, Dutchman 007 in 8th position. But Levitius has still got the fastest lap, Dan. But that's also because his second flying lap, he didn't pit.
Yes, and I tell you something, he might have been in 4th place when the others pitted, but the DMRE guys, they'll be wary of him. They know he's still a danger. The thinking from Dino in chat is that he's been saving quite a lot of fuel as well. So he's been on purposely saving fuel, starting on the harder compound tyre. So he's going to be much, much quicker in the second half of this race. So he might have been in 4th, but he's currently leading, and will he still be leading when the pit stop window is over? That's the question.
Well, Justino says he's on racing mediums. Yeah, brilliant. Just going through the comments here. Musa is commenting quite a bit. The guys are... Musa called out your commentator's curse, so Dan, that's on you.
I'll take that one. I apologize to Superman. I will take that one. And I've been good all season.
You have been good all season. And Yasteel over there says, go, Manny. We are pace. So keep those comments coming, guys, and engage with one another, because you guys know so much about what's going on here. These are oftentimes competitors and teammates of the drivers, so they know exactly what's happening strategy-wise. So give us that inside scoop if you can. We look forward to hearing from you guys as they now start to make their way around with Levitius in the lead, Vincent 2nd, Nitro Merlin 3rd, SMP Pro 4th, and we on screen with Manshal Singh now in 6th place in the pace car, looking very good out there in 6th position.
I think the real story, though, is that Vincent versus Stefan Mocker, 2nd to 4th place. It could be 1st to 3rd position. We're not quite sure until after this pit stop window's worked itself out. But that's the 3rd spot, the coveted 3rd spot to get into that final. And how we'll get to see how these Gran Turismo drivers fare against the PC guys, because I mean Dino's not here today because he's moved on to Assetto Corsa Competizione already. He's fully committed to working on that sim, so it's going to be interesting how these other guys fare in the PC world. So that's where I come from.
I'm very keen to see how Dino does in the PC world, especially since he's one of the faster guys here. We've seen him just pull in like an hour's practice and then smoke everybody. So I'm quite keen to see how he does in Assetto Corsa. Levitius will have something to say about that, though, I'm sure. And the two of them have become very strong rivals over the course of this race. What an angle as Dino 14 goes through, slips and slides, and that's Dutchman that we're on board now as we look back at Dino. And we just got confirmation that SMP Pro is on the softs, Levitius is on the racing mediums, and Levitius is saving fuel according to some sources, and it does look like Levitius is doing 3 laps on racing mediums, 2 on racing softs, and a total of 5 laps. The DRMRE guys are looking at 2 laps on racing softs, 2 on racing softs again, and then 1 medium, or the reverse of Levitius. So we're going to see a whole bunch of different strategies here, and the fuel cannot last 3 laps without a ton of mapping. And what they mean by mapping is changing the map as they go. So it's going to be a race where strategy comes in big time, and you kind of got to manage things, but also some of these guys are just on the softs going as fast as they can. So there's going to be that convergence at the end, Dan, but what that's going to look like. And again, notice the front running guys, touch wood, have not made any mistakes either.
No, so Levitius actually did a huge amount of fuel saving to get that 3rd lap in, didn't he? So he's worked out for him in his testing, that is the fastest way around in 40 minutes. No doubt the DMRE guys have worked out in their testing that the alternative strategy is the fastest way around in 40 minutes, but I bet you they're not far off by the end of 40 minutes.
Exactly, and we got 2 battles on track, one for P3 and one for P8. And this is the P8 battle taking place at the moment now, 1.6 seconds in it. But this is where you will start questioning your strategy if you haven't done the due diligence. You're going to think to yourself, is there something we missed? Is there something that he's doing better than us? Is there something that they're doing better than me? And the only way to find out is to run it through to the end, because now you're committed to it. There's no change of strategy now. The race isn't long enough for these drivers to change anything at this stage. They've got to stick to the game plan as they go through the carousel. And that's Dino 14 over there. And yeah, stick to the game plan and make sure that they get it done as much as possible. Dean Henning, they're currently in 9th position, just behind Nico van der Heever in 8th place.
Yeah, that's a completely different skill, and is what I've been impressed with the whole season long. My first season here commentating on Gran Turismo, and these guys working out their different strategy calls on different tyre wears, different fuel.
So good.
It's nuts. It's something that they won't have to do in the PC world, because you're not getting 5 times tyre wear and 4 times fuel usage in a set of course of competizione.
It's much more predictable there, isn't it?
It is, but I think they have it because it certainly adds a whole new element to the racing, because these guys have got the racing so well trimmed here in Gran Turismo 7 that they got something else there. And it's added so much in this single make that different strategies have been a part in every single round of this season, and it will happen again here, I'm sure.
Look at how close now Dino 14 is getting to his compatriot in 8th position, Dashman 007, Nico van der Heever, and the gap now 0.7 seconds, nothing in it.
Oh, got a change for the lead here, and Vincent is going to get Levitius, and this is before the pit stops.
Oh my goodness, Levitius. Somebody's not making the lap there. We just got confirmation. Can we get our producer?
Levitius had to let him go, because if he doesn't save fuel, so he had to let him go because it's all about fuel saving for Levitius, and he needs to get to the pit stop.
So Levitius saving fuel, and nothing wrong with that at this stage. I mean, yeah, two liters left over there. Maybe that was enough. But nothing wrong with saving fuel at this stage, because that is part of the game for him. Supermanny gets into 6th position there. Finally gets past the KBR car of Radius Simon, and Supermanny slots into 6th position. And Dan, yeah, we don't know. Some of these guys could be saving fuel big time. Nico van der Heever watches on in 8th position.
Yeah, but Levitius is basically an entire pit stop behind at this point, isn't he, from DMRE Vincent? So he's come in, he's just about managed to scrape through, and he's gone onto the softs. Just saw the softs car flash up on the screen before he left the pit stop, the pit lane. So it's going to be very, very close by the end, but at the moment he's going to have to claw quite a substantial gap in this second stint of the race.
And I mean, this race is only 5 laps long. But it's
yeah, but Levitius is not fuel saving now, is he? He's got 2 laps of absolutely pinning it.
Yeah, now this is a 5-lap race, but not the kind of 5-lap race that you're thinking about if you're thinking about a short one, that's for sure. 8 minutes per lap, Dan. That's frankly preposterous if you ask me.
I'm rather commentator guy than the racing in it, I'm not going to lie.
As they go down into the very tricky right-hander back up the hill towards the Schumacher S's now. And this part of the circuit is one of my favorites. I never liked the circuit before until I started playing Assetto Corsa Competizione. And it is a very, very great circuit to drive. Just the GP layout over here. So they do get to enjoy the GP layout, sort of a modern touch to motorsport. But then it's back to old school racing as they make their way through the twisting, turning, very long Nordschleife circuit.
Yeah, they get a slight change and they get the GT chicane instead of the GP chicane, which is like very tight. So here's a bit more sort of flat out go through here before you get onto the Nordschleife. But yeah, it must be a bit of a difference coming off the Nordschleife onto a super smooth Grand Prix circuit. You get to, you really concentrate on that bit, and then it's like, right, off we go again. You get little gaps and that long straight at the end of the lap as well. You can just relax a little bit, reflect, think about the lap you've had, what you're going to do. That's your time to fiddle around with your strategy calls. But the rest of it, you got 5 minutes of just pure intense racing.
I'm loving the insight that some of these guys are giving me here, and what I'm getting is that this, I mean, we know this, but Levitius and Vincent are going to be very close to each other at the finish line. The gap now 6/10 of a second. Levitius now on soft tires, and you can kind of see the difference in his pace now, eh? Doesn't seem to be holding back at this stage. It looks like he's going quite fast. He's going to try and complete the next 2 laps on those tires. But now, what will Vincent have to say about that? Maybe Vincent's tires might wear off sooner, but this looks like this could be a race to the finish there.
Yeah, it's just come down to a 2-lap sprint, hasn't it, between Vincent and Levitius. They ended up both going into the pits because Vincent did get him on the straight, but Levitius goes back in front, but the gap's just nothing now. Vincent's going to struggle to get past on this part of the circuit, though.
Yeah, this is one of the trickiest parts of the circuit. It is possible to overtake going into the left-hander up ahead here, but you've got to be real close, and it's not easy either. And here comes Vincent now. This is the corner I'm talking about. Oh, and then go back to the other side. But these guys are just too good, man. Their pace is so on it that you're not going to make a mistake there. None of these guys are going to make a mistake there, so you're not going to be able to capitalize.
Yeah. And Dino in chat, that's what I didn't realize. I was expecting a 2-2-1 strategy from the DMRE guys, but they did 2-1-2, and it's put them into that battle here with Levitius. If he'd stayed out and done a 2-stint lap, Levitius would have pitted. Vincent would have been on his own, not fighting, and just concentrating on his lap. I wonder whether that's going to make a difference towards the end.
Yeah. And what else is there that we're missing here, Dad? Is there going to have to be any fuel saving from any of these guys? Because the long
I don't think so on a 2-lapper.
I don't think so either.
No, I wouldn't have thought so on a 2-lapper. But the difference was
mistake.
Yeah, Levitius did 3 laps. He managed to fuel save and get 3 laps in, whereas the DMRE guys did 2-2-1, or they could have done 2-2-1. They did 2-1-2, which is what's put them into a 2-lap flyer against each other here at the end. So Levitius and Vincent will go to the end of this race fighting each other basically, and look how close it is.
They've got a 5-second gap over Stefan Mocker, and Levitius made a mistake there, but managed to hold back Vincent, and that's what you mentioned early on. It's so difficult to overtake. As long as you get in the way of the driver in front of you, you're able to sort of gather up your momentum again as Levitius now tries to go defensive into the left-hander. Oh, it's close. Vincent does the cutaway, goes left, goes right, jigs left, jigs right. He's still trying to get past. I think Vincent definitely has the pace on him. Look at DMR Vincent. Oh, the door gets shut on him. The door gets shut on DMR Vincent, and he is playing the waiting game at this stage. He wants to go for the win, but man, this is tight stuff as they're going to the left-hander once again through the forest section now.
I mean, it's quite easy to defend on this circuit because it's so narrow, you just hug that inside line, but it's not easy to do it for 2 whole solid laps, and that might be what Levitius has to do here, and he's going to have to do it through the tricky GP section where you're going to come a cropper. That's where Vincent's going to have to hold out, but the punishment for getting it wrong in an overtake is so massive.
Yeah,
Vincent just wants to hold it. He just wants to be patient. He's got time. He's got a lap and a half to go.
A lap and a half to go, and then that could be him getting into first place. All it takes is one overtake, and at the moment, it does look like he's got the pace advantage over Levitius. Levitius having to go defensive multiple times, having to cut the nose of DMR Vincent, and there he does it again. And as we watch Dutchman 007 and Racing Rome's, Dutchman takes 9th position now. Racing Rome's gets 10th place, and as we go back now to the leaders as they fight their way through the final stages of this race. Once they complete this lap there, it's one more lap to go to the finish.
Yeah, they're on the same strategy now, though, so this is a dead straight fight. Fastest guy wins. Levitius definitely looking in his rearview mirrors quite a bit here, but Vincent's just dropped back a little bit, gone up to 0.8 of a second, the gap between these two guys. Vincent can regroup. Remember, he's ahead of Stefan Marker. That's the position that he really wants. If he finishes where he is now, he's going to get into the finals.
Yeah, he's going to get into the finals, and depending on those drop-down situations, gets airborne over there. Beautiful stuff. He's only 3 points behind DMR Dino K, so he could actually win the championship here. We're just going to have to wait for confirmation on that.
No, I'm sure Levitius winning here will win the overall championship for sure, because he's got a drop round of 7th place in round 1, which he'll switch to a first position, and the gap was only a few points.
Yeah, the gap was only a few points, but Liam Pisanello, as mentioned, 3 points behind Dino K. Vincent now 3 points behind him. Stefan Mocker a further 5 points down on Vincent now. So this is exactly how this needs to end, but it's not the end of the world for either of these guys if they don't win this race, but it doesn't seem like they seem to care. Everybody wants to win it, but now what if Liam Pisanello comes first, Dino K comes second, Vincent now, Stefan Mocker's the one that's knocking on the door here, isn't he?
Yeah, he's the one that needed to progress. He's not far behind. You actually just saw him there. He can see these two in front. The best thing that could happen to Stefan Mocker is they get tangled up on the green hell, and then he poaches through and gets the win. Suddenly, he's in the top 3.
Yeah, Stefan Mocker, the gap 3 seconds at least. Oh, bit of a dab of the brake there. Down the inside over the curb goes Vincent, and Vincent takes the lead. Will he have the advantage? He sneaks ahead, cuts the nose of Levitius this time, and now we're going to see Levitius has the racecraft to get back past Vincent as they go now onto the GP circuit.
Wow, that was a very brave overtake, wasn't it? I should imagine everything was clenched as you went through there. But Vincent he's got his lead. Can he hold it though? Because Levitius has already passed him on the circuit once before, and he's going to do it again up the inside of turn 1.
Yeah, turn 1, the right hand, of course, very easy to overtake over here. Oh, I think he is, Dan. I think he's. Oh my goodness,
that was close. How close was that?
Door. That was a cheese sandwich right there. You know, perfectly cut slice of cheese. Perfectly cut, slipped onto a sandwich, and that's exactly what he did there. And that was picture perfect. There was no gap for lettuce or tomato there.
I'm looking at his Twitch stream right now. He's certainly got a very concentrated face, that's for sure. He got the pass exactly where he wanted on the GP circuit, but he's going to have to drive defensively again for the rest of the green hell.
Round the outside, they go door to door. Up the hill now towards the chicane. Oh my goodness me, the S's. And he's back in the front of this race. Gaz grabs curb through the Schumacher S's over there. And such a tricky corner, both of them nailing it spot on. Levitius with the fastest lap still of 8:11 goes defensive now on Vincent, and this means that Stefan Mocker is getting ever closer. The gap now down to 2.5 seconds as we make our way on the final lap of this race, ladies and gentlemen. It's been an incredible season. It's been door-to-door racing the entire season, and this, what a fitting way to end the season of the ATK Pro Series Gran Turismo 7 edition. I've become a fan of watching these guys race, Dan.
Yeah, I'm a massive fan. Vincent now wants to try and get it done before the chicane, if he can try and, because once he gets onto sector 1 of the Nordschleife, he's just going to be looking at the back of Liam's car. But I don't think he got it done at all, so they'll be entering the Nordschleife now, those guys. And yeah, Levitius is in front as it stands. One lap to go.
1 lap to go. Nitro Merlin in 4th position. Another DMR. Look at that. DMR car 2nd, 3rd, 4th. And there go your leaders. Vincent in 2nd place. Levitius still in 1st place. The gap down to 2 seconds to 3rd place man Stefan Mocker. And Vincent will be pushing so hard. And Levitius has got so many things to think about. He's got to go defensive, but he also doesn't want to bring this man into the conversation at all. The gap 0.3 of a second between the first two drivers.
Yeah, if Vincent wants to win this race, if he wants to take a win at the ATK Pro Series under Gran Turismo, then he's got to do it the difficult way. He's got to make a pass on the Nordschleife. Where do you do it? I think, is it too much to wait until the final straight? Or are you going to try and force your way here?
I think that's the move. I think the pressure before that, but we've seen the slipstream on the straight being enough for these drivers to get past on that little left-hand kink over there. And that's probably what he's going to try and wait for. But that doesn't mean that he's going to make it easy. That doesn't mean that he's not going to have a look and make it seem like he's going to try and overtake any other place. But these guys are so measured when it comes to their strategy, isn't it?
I don't think he's going to wait, you know. He's looking very impatient, is Vincent now. Stefan Mocker is urging him on, saying, take a lunge, take a lunge. I wonder whether they're on team chat. Go on, go for it, Vincent. Go on. I believe in you.
Why are you saying take a lunge? I'm not sure what you're talking about here. Yeah. And now we go on board with second place. Man, the gap does look pretty substantial at this stage, but as they dab on the brakes and duck it to the left-hander here, it does seem to concertina ever so slightly. Left, right, left again. That's the name of the game on the circuit. There is no time to take a break over here. You got to sort of hold your breath and just keep going as they go through once again. And for the final time, the very technical forest section, we've spoken about this and how this is absolutely flat out. If you're able to get the line just right, and clearly these guys are doing just that. They're going to go, oh my goodness me, ducks in to that tight left-hander over there. And wow, this is getting exciting as they make their way towards the second half of this lap.
I think you just need to make sure you're there for that final exit onto the long straight and then just put everything on the line there. There's a mistake. That's a mistake.
Yeah, so Vincent has made a mistake on the exit there, and so has Levitius. Levitius gets it sideways there, but DML Vincent has made a mistake, and now SCP Pro gets into the conversation. Has Levitius done enough, and has that mistake by DML Vincent costing the win?
Well, certainly, I mean, he'll know about it. He's looking very concentrated on his Twitch stream, is Levitius, but he'll be looking in the rearview mirror. He'll see that the gap is suddenly 1.2 seconds in his relative. Slight sigh of relief. That's going to be massive if he can hold it until that second carousel.
Yeah, I think 1.3 seconds for these guys is a flippin' lifetime. And there comes Stefan Mocker now. Stefan Mocker is going to catch DML Vincent. And does this throw out team orders at this stage, Dan?
You've got to scrap team orders at this point. I mean, it's surely Stefan Mocker is going to put everything on the line. He's got one opportunity. He can see his main rival as far as the championship standings go right in front of him. I'm not sure if passing him alone is enough to take third position, though. It might not be. He might have to beat Levitius as well, Stefan Mocker. I'm not sure how far down on the points he is or what his other drop round would be, but it's going to be mighty close between the two teammates.
Yeah, Stefan Mocker is 5 points behind Vincent now, and he's going to want to get past there. I'm trying to find out if team orders are in play at this stage. Nope, no team orders, and Vincent and Dean will be going through at this stage. So SMP Pro is still in this race, but it doesn't look like, even if he overtakes, it might not be enough, Dan. I'm trying to get confirmation on that. But the gap now down to 0.6 of a second. Yeah, let's see how this goes. I mean, I'm trying to get, as I said, more information, but at this stage, no team orders between those two guys in second and third place.
Yeah, someone's going to be frantically trying to work that out, but Stefan Mocker can only fight what's in front of him, and at the moment it's Vincent now, and he wants to be in that top three. He might have to get past both, but first of all, you got to get past Vincent, haven't you? And he's running out of time. We're on the concluding part of this race, final lap, lap 5. Levitius has paced himself perfectly. That fuel saving at the start really worked out well for him. Stefan Mocker's getting very close to Vincent now. Doesn't look like Vincent's going to put a move on Levitius, rather defending against his rival Stefan Mocker and cement that third place. Yeah, let's cement that third place. And as we said, no team orders at this stage, but it does seem like there's enough of a gap between all of them. But SMP Pro is in the drive of his life at the moment as Stefan Mocker starts to push. The car does seem to be coming to him a little bit more. This is the final lap, the last few corners. We got the notification on screen over there as Stefan Mocker gets within striking distance, but is it going to be enough? Here they go through the final carousel and now on their way to the long straight, and hopefully
one of them will be in reach of the slipstream of the other, but I don't think it's going to be, though. It's flat out now, 270 kilometers an hour, sixth gear down the long straight towards the Bulstein Bridge. Anything can happen. Now let's watch that gap between Vincent and SMP Pro. 0.7 of a second. It's dropping, Dan. It's dropping.
It is dropping, but I think it's too much. I really do. I think the top three is the top three. And Levitius, I mean, their strategy call looked a little bit questionable when he had to let Vincent through because he was saving that much fuel. But he's laughing now as he's in the lead and he's coming up the final straight. He's just got a few little tricky corners to go before he gets onto the GP circuit for the last time.
Levitius is running low on fuel at this stage. It's the final section. Levitius is back in fuel-saving mode. Diebo Vincent starting to close the gap now. There comes SMP Pro. They make their way towards the final section now. Levitius is crawling over the line. Oh, here comes Vincent. Will he make it? It's a close finish, but Levitius takes the win, ladies and gentlemen. Vincent gets second place with just 1 second to spare. And there is SMP Pro a further 1 second back. Nitro Merlin gets fourth place. Super Manny and Manshal Singh, they call him, gets fifth place. KBR sixth. C8S7 Dutchman 007 brings us home in eighth position. What a fantastic performance there from Levitius, the cool young man over there, managing to stay ahead. Dan, that was one heck of a race, and interesting to see hardly any mistakes as well on such a technical, difficult circuit.
I'm so impressed with these Gran Turismo drivers. Once again, we get to the end of a 40-minute race at the full Nordschleife, and we've got the top three all within a few car lengths of each other. It's that close. It's been that way all season long. Super exciting to spectate and commentate on the Gran Turismo 7 series. And soon we'll find out who the top three is. We're pretty sure it's Levitius in first place. Dino should sneak through in second place, and Vincent now should round out that top three, I believe. But when the standings are worked out, they'll come up on our screens, and they will be our three finalists that move on to fight against the PC guys, and that's going to be super interesting.
Oh, you gotta love it. I mean, you've got rivalries in sim racing, but you've also got rivalries across platforms. But more about that after this break. I'm gonna catch my breath and try and do some maths over here. I'm sure the rest of the production team is working on that too. And we'll be right back after this short break, folks. Stay tuned for the update on what happens next and how those championship points are looking.
Welcome to Africa's first ROG Arena.
Well, there you have it, folks. That's what the results look like. Stefan Mocker gets third place. Vincent Nall gets second place. And your winner, Liam Pisanello. And at the moment, it does seem like Liam Pisanello, provisionally, and of course, we've just been told that all the results are currently provisional, pending any protests or pending any penalties. But Liam Pisanello could be the overall champion. And he is currently your winner in first position. What a performance from him. Dan, a standout young man at this stage, and someone that's been improving all through the season. But how do you improve on first place? Let's see what happens next for him in the coming weeks as we make our way towards the finals in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, if nothing else, he's got a real feather in his cap for coming through as the ATK provisional champion of the Gran Turismo 7 series. So very well done to him. He just got stronger and stronger as the season went on. Truly impressive driving. The DMRE guys, they pushed him right to the line though. Unfortunately, not all of them are going to make their way through in that top three because Liam's snaffled one of those spots off of them. So only 2 DMRE guys are going to get through. Pretty sure it's Dino and Vincent now managed to have a great race. And Vincent did exactly what he needed to, one of the toughest tracks of them all at the Nordschleife.
Stefan Mocker has joined us, though, in the virtual commentary booth over here. Stefan Mocker, a fantastic performance this season. You've been in it all season, and you've been in it till the end. How was that race for you, and was it as difficult as it freaking looked, man?
Evening, everybody. It was extremely difficult, and it was such a nice race. It was an awesome race.
I mean, Stefan, we were thinking at the end, and it come down to a final 2-lap shootout between you three. Were you sat in the wings just hoping that those 2 in front would just come together for your own personal gain? Be honest now.
Well, I think any driver that's going to say that there's not even a small percentage that
Thank you for your honesty.
Going to lie to you. So, yeah, very small. I did wish that.
So, from your perspective, how difficult was the circuit from a driver's perspective? Because we tried to wrap our heads around the way you guys drive, the way you guys strategize, and then throw in one of the most technical circuits in the world, and certainly the longest one that we in general use in 2022. What was it like?
It's extremely difficult, but it's extremely enjoyable because you have all aspects of racing on this track. You have uphills, downhills, banked corners, you name it, you've got it. And it's probably the best or the most challenging track for any driver.
Well, you've certainly proved that you are able to and are up to the challenge. So a fantastic performance from you this season. Congratulations on all of your podium finishes, all of your results this season. It's been a pleasure watching you and watching you fight it out with some of the best sim racers in the country. Stefan Mocker, you've gained our respect, and certainly the GT7 drivers have too. Thanks so much for being part of the ATK Pro Series powered by Mercedes-Benz.
Thank you to ATK and Mercedes-Benz, and to you.
I think we've just lost our man Stefan over there, but we do have the other drivers jumping into the booth with us as well. We've got Vincent over there. Vincent, now, how are you doing, man? How was that? I mean, freaking hell, you guys are pushing a little bit fast there, eh?
Yeah. I'm shaking quite a lot. Yeah.
Why are you shaking? Tell me why. Why does this make you shake? What about this experience? Because we've spoken to Stefan now, and Dan and I, as sim racers ourselves, trying to wrap our heads around the way you guys drive, what this meant, the stakes on the line, and I mean, freaking hell, man, that was intense, bro.
Yeah. I mean, I think firstly we messed up a little bit with our strategy. We should have done our short stint at the end. Then I probably would have been in front of Liam. But I mean, yeah, I'm happy with the results. And I mean, I was trying everything to get past Liam, but the car was like 4 meters wide.
As we know, it's such a hard circuit to overtake on the Nordschleife itself. You've almost got to try and get it done on that GP circuit, and that's where Liam had you. going into the final lap. When you couldn't get it back as you got onto the Nordschleife, were you thinking, where would you try and pass? I mean, did you have any sort of plan, or you just think, I mean, you pushed him right to the end, Vincent. It was so close.
Yeah, I mean, I had a bit of a laggy moment when Liam passed me, because yeah, I was on the inside and it lagged, and then he was like right behind me, so I moved, and then obviously he got past me, and then I thought, yeah, I'll just get him again on the back straight. But then I made a few mistakes and I lost slipstream, so I just couldn't get him.
Well, it was incredible to watch, Vincent. Now, your performance this season has just been exemplary, and it's been cool to watch you guys also not just be good from the get-go, but also improve over the season and as the season goes on. And look, the results are provisional at the moment, but by our calculations and those in the know, it does look like you're going through to the Champs of Champs. I'm not allowed to say anything officially, but how are you feeling about that?
Yeah, I'm very excited. I think it'll be lucky to go with Dean, and I think also maybe Levitius or Stefan. But yeah, I'm very excited.
What's interesting, Vincent, you might be an interesting stat given to me just now on WhatsApp by our producer is that if we didn't have a drop round, you would have won overall. So you've been very consistent throughout the whole season. So very well done for that. I think you certainly you've earned your top 3 spots. So good luck going into the PC rounds. Against the PC guys, I should say. How are you confident? Have you tried any PC sim racing at all? How are you as head of Corsa Competizione?
Yeah, I've just recently got a PC and I've been practicing a bit of Assetto Corsa, but I'm not sure. I think the other game is R Factor.
Yeah.
But I've never driven on that, so.
Nah, don't worry about it. You'll be fine, man. The way you drive, bro, I think you're gonna be just fine.
Yeah, thank you.
Vincent, now, ladies and gentlemen, one of the most competitive drivers in the series. And Vincent, it's been an absolute pleasure watching you compete. You are a true competitor in the true spirit of the word. And of course, a fantastic representative for Gran Turismo 7. Thanks so much for joining the ATK Pro Series powered by Mercedes-Benz this season.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, folks, one more interview, and the last man standing over here, Levitius, is joining us ever so shortly. And Levitius, how was that Liam Pisanello? An incredible performance. How much pressure were you under, and what was it like having to give up that position because of the fuel saving?
I don't know what to say, man. I just looking at the VOD right now, it was very close to the fuel. Zero. We actually ran out of fuel right at the line. So, yeah, it's kind of crazy looking back that I fueled myself to 70% to get track position, and the others behind were on 100%, and we managed to keep them behind for 2 laps, which is mad.
Yeah,
you like living life on the edge though, Liam, because you've been in the gods of your load shedding schedule all week as well, haven't you? So you've been on the edge of fuel during the race, on the edge of electricity for the whole week. So this is dedicated to ESCOM, this win, I take it? Indeed,
yes. But it's crazy though. Also the strategy, I don't think my strategy at the end of the day actually was the optimum one. I see the soft was just better, or like the soft for the first and then soft and then pits again for 2 more laps. It was much faster. I didn't know that, but at least we got track position, managed to defend when we needed to, and yeah, it was intense. It was crazy. Yeah.
Well, it certainly looked crazy from where we were sitting as we make our way into the finals. Was your goal, I'm not sure if you've spoken about this before, but you obviously knew that you were heading into you wanted to head into the finals. What was the goal and the mindset going into today? Did you want to win this race? Did you want to end top 3, or did you want to go into the finals?
I wanted to be winning this race, but my qualifying lap was it was unfortunate. I managed to spin it on one of the curbs when I was pushing really hard in the middle, like in the middle of the lap sometime, and I didn't have enough time to do an out lap again and then another fastest lap. So that was on the back foot. So I expected to be top 3, but then after my only pit stop, when I came out ahead, I was like, okay, listen, right? I need to use a lot of fuel on like certain parts of the track where like the straights, and then save a lot more extra and carry more minimum speed into the corners to save fuel. It was close. It was close, but we managed to do it. Yeah.
It looked flipping close, man. It looked super close, but the fuel saving thing, it's such an interesting component. Dan, you were talking about this earlier on. I mean, How do you guys plan for all of this over the course of such a long lap? Because if you made a mistake, you're out, you're stranded, it's over.
Yes, 100%. Because I also planned also for the headwind or the tailwind down the long straight. If we had a headwind, we had to save even more fuel in the middle of the lap. Yeah, but now we had a tailwind. Luckily, that was fine, and also that meant it helped me keep Vincent behind me a little bit longer on the straight, so he didn't have as much of a run. So it seems like all the factors just came onto my side today. So it was a great race. Yeah.
And there we go. We've got the results on screen right now. So a full 400 points. And from our calculations, at least provisionally, I think that puts you as the lead racer in Gran Turismo 7. But I've asked the other drivers, as you move on and start reflecting and thinking about the finals, how are you in my world, boy? How are you as a PC driver, Liam?
To be honest with you, I've been playing a lot of ACC off stream. I've got ACC from one of my mates who actually gifted it to me. It is actually really fun, and I've got my rig in tomorrow, so
excellent.
We'll see how it goes. But I'm still going to be doing both games 100%, and yeah, looking forward to the next league as well, and the finals.
Well, we look forward to seeing what you can do in ACC. We look forward to seeing what you can do in the Champs of Champs. But by all accounts, you are in the top 3, and you probably, and I can't say this officially, probably our champion for GT7. But I'm not going to congratulate you for that just yet, in case I get it wrong. But
let's hope.
Wink, wink. Congratulations on your performance and a fantastic season from you, a fantastic drive. From finishing 7th at the beginning of the season to consistently improving.
On the podium,
And on the podium, showing the faster guys how it's done. It's been fantastic to watch your journey, Liam Pisanello. Thank you for joining us at the ATK Pro Series powered by Mercedes-Benz. You are a winner and possibly a champion.
Thank you. Okay.
Well, we're waiting for the championship standings as we speak, and they currently, our producers are provisionally going to show us exactly what those championship standings look like. They're busy frantically working it out, and there you have it. Liam Pisanello is your champion. It's unofficially official, let's put it that way.
I think the one thing, the respect for the GT7 drivers, it's been very, very competitive all season, but it's also been incredibly clean between all of you. So I think these provisional results, I'll be very surprised if they do change. But if that is the case, Liam, very well done. I mean, you came on leaps and bounds as the season progressed, and I think you'll be one of the dark horses as we go into the PC world. And that's what I want to see, how these Gran Turismo guys fare against those cocky PC drivers.
Oh, yes. Oh, so do I. I look forward to it. Liam. Show them how it's done. Don't tell them I said that, though. But go show them how it's done. And we look forward to seeing your journey go forward. And once again, thanks for joining us at the ATK Pro Series powered by Mercedes-Benz. There we go, folks. There was your winner and your provisional champion, Liam Pisanello. What a performance from him. But Dan, what a performance from all those guys. Dino K's got to get an honorable mention for, he's not here today. He sat out this round, but he would have been on the podium, I'm sure, as he has been the entire duration of the season. But what an incredible race on an incredible circuit. What a way to finish off the season of the Gran Turismo version of our Pro Series.
It definitely was. Great finale to a great season in Gran Turismo 7. Some of the most exciting races we've seen throughout all 3 of our series, R Factor 2, ACC included. These guys really have had photo finish races, and it's kept us on the edge of our seats. So just like to thank all the drivers that participated in the Gran Turismo 7 series. Congratulations to the ones that got into Pool 1. Maybe you only managed it once or twice, but we look forward to seeing you back next time for sure. And now we move on to thinking how these 3 guys are going to get on in the Champions of Champions.
Oh yes, the Champs of Champs. It's on its way. It's where all the best sim racers do a multitude of disciplines to try and figure out which one is the best sim racer across all platforms. Details will follow, folks, so stay tuned to our socials, and of course check out the Discord from time to time to figure out exactly what will be happening and who will be competing in what is going to be one of the most mega sim racing events on the calendar. Dan, any final words from you before we close things down for the season and for today?
No, just remember, we've still got one more. No, we've got a couple more rounds, because you've got the R Factor 2 guys that have got to finish off as well. And we've got the concluding final round for the ACC guys that got postponed due to stage 6 load shedding. So we're looking forward to the fight, because that's also incredibly close. Who's going to get the top 3 in the ACC? So lots to look forward to. Keep an eye out on the socials here at ATK. And as we get into these final rounds, then we can all start to work out who are the top 9 and where they're going to go.
Well, folks, there you have it. There are your championship standings. And on the left there, you can see all the companies that made it possible for us to be here today. And of course, Mercedes-Benz pushing the envelope and pushing sim racing in South Africa. And for that, we are all very, very thankful. My name is Ernest Page, joined by Dan Haynes. We are at the Nurburgring. And from all of us here at ATK and the Pro Series powered by Mercedes-Benz, thanks so much for joining us this season. We'll see you guys at the other events, but we'll also see you guys at the Champs of Champs. Until then, goodbye.